Interview presented by Canaceutics Medical Dispensary, proudly serving New Mexico cannabis patients with trustworthy all-natural medicine since 2010.
Welcome to Cage Minds. I'm Micah Frankel at the Jacksonwink Academy ahead of LFA 164, joined by Jordan Bukholder. Look, I got the name right in the first try this time.
That was good.
Yeah, see, again, the practice, and we're going to do these quite often now as you're more active. We had a point where you made your pro debut, and then 9 months to a year of inactivity, and now the contracts are just flying in.
Yeah, it was a little, I don't know, disheartening maybe, like sitting there waiting. A lot of fights fell through, but yeah, February, March, May, and now this in August, it's kind of happened real fast, and I'm thankful for it.
And you haven't wasted any time when we've seen you in the cage thus far, those last three, all first-round finishes. What do you attribute getting guys out of there so quickly to?
I think just trusting the gym that I'm at. The coaches show me great things, and then my partners that I train with, they're willing to always get in extra work, extra drills. And, everything that I've did to finish those fights are things that I've drilled for countless hours in this gym, so the drilling's paying off, yeah.
And how does it feel getting to put that repetition to use now? There's a difference between training in here all the time, and there's got to be just a different feeling from boom, boom, boom. You're able to see these evolutions that you're making every couple months as you're putting everything out on display.
Yeah, I think putting it together like in a true fight, with the crowd watching, the pressure on, it's certainly different than maybe sparring or doing live rolls here. So I think the back-to-back fights that I've had is also adding to the comfort. So I'm getting a little more comfortable in the cage each time, I'm noticing. So, and that's allowing me to hit that, flow state to where I'm able to compete as if I'm training. So I think that's coming with each time in the cage.
Was that almost surprising to you that you had to get used to the competing on this stage with having been a lifelong competitor?
Yeah, I think so. I remember back to my first amateur fight, I expected the wrestling to feel just the same. And when that cage door shut, I was like, oh my gosh, it feels a lot different, man. I don't know if maybe because it's only one cage as opposed to like a wrestling tournament. There might be 8 mats with matches going on, so it's not always like all eyes on you. But in the cage, it's like this is really all just me and this guy and everybody watching.
Have you gotten to a point where you enjoy now that attention, that spotlight?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely getting more comfortable with it. It's still, I think every fight it'll probably be a little more, I guess. But I remember with CES in March, I actually took a second to look at the crowd. I would try not to look at the lights, look at the crowd. And that time I walked in the cage, I'm going to look right at the crowd and kind of look around and kind of take that in. I might as well try to enjoy it. Because, they're going to be watching regardless, so I might as well try to enjoy it.
And did you feel a difference with that moment with taking it in instead of trying to avoid it?
Yeah, I think it just made me comfortable right off, the start of the fight. I didn't have to, I accepted that fact before they even introduced us. As soon as I got in the cage, I looked at the crowd. I realized, okay, they're all watching us. That's okay. Now I can focus back on the task at hand.
We know that was a successful night, just like when we saw you here locally at Peak, now heading to El Paso for LFA 164. Going to be taking on Josiah Reyes. It's a wrestler versus a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Do you think we're going to see you guys play on the ground, and are you excited for the prospect of testing your grappling against a guy who has submissions on his resume?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely end up being a lot of action on the ground. I'll go back to the CES fight. That opponent actually had just recently got his black belt. And I know going into it, I was actually a little nervous, should I even try to take the guy down? But once I got in the cage, the instincts took over, and I went for the takedown probably in 10 seconds. So same with this fight. If I see a takedown, I'm not going to hesitate to go get it. I feel comfortable in my grappling, especially with that MMA style. It's not the same as a jiu-jitsu match, when there's elbows and punches flying. So I think my MMA grappling can compete with just about anybody.
And we've seen on your record couple of submission wins. How comfortable are you feeling with encompassing all of your game? Not just working that ground and pound, because I know that's the first instinct for a wrestler, but seeing and taking advantage of the opening for the submissions.
Yeah, that goes back with all the drilling that I've been doing. It'll be strikes. If they give me, a certain look, maybe I stay striking. If they give me this look, I'm going to transition to a submission. And I've got a lot of reps in this camp. And I think if he presents a submission, I'll recognize it fast.
Now, there's someone I've been wanting to ask you about, because there's a lot of guys that you're close to, but there's one guy I've constantly, even before I knew you, saw you in his corner, like, who is that guy on Bellator? Back there in Aaron Pico's corner. Fill us all in a little bit on how this relationship bloomed and how you guys are such close friends.
It happened fast. So we just started talking one day in the sauna. I knew who he was right away when I got to the gym. I'm like, oh, that's Aaron Pico. But, we started talking one day in the sauna, and he's like, hey, I see you're, training a lot. I see you're getting a lot better. And then we just started talking about how we both wrestled, hobbies, just talking about life and stuff in the sauna. And at the end of the sauna, he's like, you want to go to Chili's? We went to Chili's, and, man, I've been inseparable ever since.
How many friends have you made in the sauna? I'm guessing that we're going to get quite a few here with the wrestling background.
Oh, so many. It's funny, you can usually tell who wrestled and who didn't, in the sauna. Some guys will go full clothes. The wrestlers were super comfortable. Just, it's unbelievable, with that locker room feel. So, yeah, it's almost everybody that walks in the sauna, I'm sitting there talking. They're probably give me some space, but I'm I grew up wrestling, so we're comfortable in these tight spaces like this.
It's been a fast year. You've been on some big stages, making your name. 3-0 so far in the year. Can you reflect on how this year has changed from how you were feeling the previous 9 months of your career was looking?
Oh, it's a total 180. I remember November, December of last year, really worried, am I doing the right things, man? I'm taking all this time, I'm training, I'm not getting fights, so it feels like there's no progression being made, and then just feeling a little down, honestly, about it. But this year came, and one fight, find out about a fight the next month, and it's been awesome. Just being able to see the training pay off, I guess, so many times. It's letting me know the things I'm doing are working, and I'm doing the right things, as opposed to last year where I'm what exactly am I aiming for if I don't know what date I'm going to fight? Is it going to be by the end of the 2022? But now 2023 came, and I'm my goal was to get 5 fights, and this would be the 4th already, and we're just halfway through the year, so it feels really good. Yeah.
We know you came here to MMA to continue to follow a love of competition. Have you found something more than just a love of competition from this sport?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've enjoyed the process of training a lot more as opposed to that I did wrestling. Wrestling, I was only thinking about, the next tournament, the next dual meet, the goals that I specifically had for myself, where I really just love coming in here and training now. I loved training wrestling, but I don't know, there's something different that's happened. I don't know if I think probably maybe the coaching here, they stress that, not taking things too serious, probably. Training with Aaron a lot too. I think we're both just very obsessed with being in the gym. So every time we come in here, it feels fun. It's hard, but it feels fun to do it.
And we're going to see you have fun, get in the cage, put that all on display August 4th. LFA 164. You're in El Paso, Texas. What are your expectations for your performance?
I think it's going to be, I see a really good performance. I expect myself to really apply a lot of pressure, not only just with looking for takedowns, but I want to hunt forward with good strikes, good movement, and just kind of put together a whole array of skills that will be overwhelming.
Jordan Bukholder. Sir, thank you for the time.
Thank you, brother.